dominant forms of hip hop, fin, bubblegum-like, hollow, shallow, stimulating body, no stirring of soul, which is very, very sad because young people need soul-stirring music.
Yo, what up? Luxurious.
Drums and ammo.
Ghetto. Gifted. Ammbaataa.
It's Ammbaataa, baby.
Check.
There he is. Man, what's happening, man? Damn. Hold on, let me turn you up. I like that shirt you got on. That's the horror gods, right?
Rocking it.
Okay. We're gonna get into it. So let me give you a proper intro. This is DJ Ambush for Drums and Ammo. The show's called This, That, and the Third. I'm with the homie Zachary Sweets that we met years ago at Office Depot. Yep, and you were just sketching something down, and that was one of my points when I was trying to be like, you know, as an artist, you kind of get in your own zone, and you know, you may not be the most sociable person, so that when you were drawing, that was one of those moments I was like, all right, man, let me step up, let me start trying to, you know, talk to cats and stuff. And I'm like, man, what you got going there? And you just, you know, you broke it down, and you said you were kind of on the cusp of getting out of there. It sounded like you were really trying to make a move as an independent artist and kind of get started. So let's get into some of the origin story. You know what I mean? Like, I know, as far as I know, you grew up in Oakland, or you know, give me some background.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Fairfield and Vallejo, and I've been out here when I started going to school in 2008, studying animation. That's when I made the transition, like out here, and it was always wild because Oakland was a place, because I got into art from graffiti. I wouldn't even have been an artist if it wasn't for graffiti. And we would come out here because it was like, that was our form of hitting the club or something.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, going to art shows and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we got into the habit of doing that all the time. And it always had that allure. It always had that, it was like a magical place. You know what I'm saying? Like even from Vallejo, it was way different. So my mom and dad were separated, so it was like bouncing around all the time. But we got into the habit of like taking trips or expeditions, like with my mom, and she always had like a good understanding of Oakland. And my father was a musician, and so he would play clubs and stuff all over the place. So we would see like, I mean, I was a kid, and we were allowed to go inside like bars and clubs and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he played funk and like blues and rock and like all the hits, all the oldies and stuff like that. And they did their own music too. My stepmom is Twana Turner, Ike Turner's daughter.
Oh,
and like as a kid, we were like, whoa, it was like, you know, get to see that celebrity aspect of like music and being like, you know, what is that what's that term, the Kevin Bacon thing?
So
it's like
1 degree of 60 separation. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it was just small. It was, you know, you see how small the world and how big it is at the same time. But my father was also an artist, and I remember seeing the first time I like saw him draw a dragon. You know, I was like 5, and I remember one of my first thoughts was like, "You call that a dragon? We draw a dragon." Yeah, it was just all. It was always, you know, where I am now or whatever is like all of that history, all of that was just a precursor for me to just like take that dive and just like saying, okay, I just gotta only do this. I can't have anything else interfere, because it's like not draining on the creativity, but I think as a society we kind of get into the habit of like not making time for ourselves and constantly being in an oppressive state that you don't have the time, but you have to make the time.
Well, you got to fight
And
for it. Yeah, you got to fight
yeah,
for it. Trying to be creative. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. And every single day, it was, oh man, it was wild. It was, doing freelance stuff here and there and building a community. People forget that that's important too, because everybody's on, worried about their own nut nowadays, especially with social media.
Yeah.
And you forget about those moments where if you have genuine connections, you get to have a natural progression with a human being, and like just meeting you at Office Depot, and I'm like doing what I do. That's how it works. Like you being a producer, a musician, and someone comes up because you're making something that they're interested in, and you immediately walk up to them and just make a connection like that. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, besides that is just taking. I've always drawn, and I made that was the next logical step was, okay, how can I make it move? Animation to me is, a single image, it's okay. But to make a movement, a convincing movement, takes all that commitment. And even though I graduated, man, I'm still a student with it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of being a student, so you did, I didn't know you did graffiti. I was going through your Instagram. I didn't know that was kind of like part of your wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
so basically, so graffiti came before you went to the San Francisco Art Institute.
Yeah.
So how did graffiti transfer or translate into school? Like how did it evolve into school?
Well, it's kind of a funny story because I, as a kid, I was writing with this crew. Well, first start off where I was just, of course, super toy, having no idea, how the world exists outside of it. Of course, seeing like snippets here and there, finding out that my dad used to write subsonic.
What?
And yeah, and I was like, what is that? He saw that I had an interest in graffiti, and he got me a book called The Art of Getting Over. And I was 14 years old, and before that it was just writing up with markers and doing weird cartoons everywhere. But as a kid, like 14 to 16 and stuff, you're going through those transitional period as a youth, and I had like super bad anxiety. And graffiti, of course, was like that way that I could just do my own thing. I didn't have to trip on getting permission from anybody. I get to feel like a superhero, super villain type thing, and getting peer recognition, it kind of helped. And I noticed when I was having anxiety, if I was out painting, like that anxiety would be there, but it was, logical because I don't want to get caught. And then after a while, I was getting into it heavier, and then I started to notice I was like transitioning from letter form, and I just wanted to do just weird characters, not really focusing on a moniker, but just doing off the wall. I used to do this thing where I would have just like people and replace the spray can, as cliche as it sounds, replace their limbs and stuff with spray cans, where I would like always try to create a pop icon and turn that into a spray can. And then I just got into just horror related stuff because I was having that teenage angst, and I wanted to do that. But after that, we would come out to the city, and there would be some yards, and I met up with this crew at this skate park that they were opening in Fairfield, and they were called AWL. And there was one writer named Sin, and that fool was like super friendly. Everybody else was just trying to boast and everything, but he was down to earth. He only wanted to paint. That's all. Nothing else. None of the bullshit. He just wanted to paint. And so we would talk, and that fool was really into anime too. And I had a love for animation just in general, and we talked about that, and then over time I was had that in the back of my head, like, yeah, man, I'd be sick to do some animation. And then after a few years, I was out in Dublin painting.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be this safe spot,
Uh-oh.
and there was like people working on the roof that we didn't know. And it was broad daylight, but it was supposed to be chill. Friend was like building it up like it was a chill spot. So I was planning on doing a huge production. And they see us and they start chasing us. And so we're running everywhere. And next thing you know, there's like, I remember this woman, she was walking her dog. She started chasing us. They're over there. They're over there. There's a dude jogging.
Jeez. Oh,
And then
like
the
that.
cops got us. The cops got us, whooped our ass. And it was just for graffiti. And they found the backpack with all my paint and shit, jacked my sketchbook. I had a fucking a little disposable camera. And we went to Santa Rita.
Whoa.
So I was in Santa Rita for like, we got caught on Thursday, so I had to stay there on Friday, and of course I had to stay during the weekend because the courts are closed. And then we got let out. I got some other story. Save that for another time. But of course, getting out, that had that impact. Like, oh shit! All right, well, I got to switch this up. So I still
you got scared straight. You got scared straight. You got scared straight right there. No, I did too. With graffiti, I got scared straight too. Yeah, straight.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird. I was way more cautious. At that point, I was like, all right, I can't go out with nobody because I can't, I can't think they're gonna have my back or nothing like that. So yeah. And then it just turned into, my skills and expertise in that, just color form and layering, and just trying to make something, because I would still get up, but it was so few and far between that I never wanted to boast and pretend like I was some like all city writer, But yeah, it was a humbling experience. And then later down the road, just being able to like work and meet with my heroes, people that was just like, what the fuck? I love your shit. And just meeting them in person. Yeah, it was.
Name a couple of them. Name a couple of
First one that comes to mind is Diet.
Okay.
And then like
where was he? Where is he from? Where was he from?
San Francisco.
Diet.
Yeah. And Oakland, yeah. And I remember, meeting him for the first time. And you always have this image in your head that this person's like 8 feet tall, hella yoked, like a hood only, like sinister looking. Like no bullshit, probably like a beard and fucking paint splatters, scar on the face. Like, yeah, I've been in this shit for hella long.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I got you fully. Yeah.
But yeah, that was like one of the first transitional periods for me to kind of pursue just animation. And then I remember too, because like Barry McGee, like Twist, and as far as Oakland, that was, man, the little screws and stuff were everywhere. And yeah, we'd see those, and then it was like from 19, because we would come out to the city to like go to clubs and shit. So we'd go there, but it was like instead of bar hopping, we would go like gallery hopping. So we'd go to different art galleries and stuff, and you get to see graffiti artists. Like having their art.
You had a slick crew. You had like an advanced crew to be thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Like back then, it'd be like, yo, hey, so check this out, y'all. We're gonna go to the Bay. We're gonna go bounce around to some of these art. Like that's what I'm trying to do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that's sick. That's crazy.
Right on. Yeah, it was. And then now everybody's like, just going back to that idea of community. You saw all of them rooting for each other. Like one artist would draw a poster for another artist, you know what I'm saying? Or a flyer or whatever. Another person And this is like before Facebook and MySpace and all that. And you could tell that they were rooting for each other because you'd see stuff like people. It's like, oh yeah, so and so has a show on this day, and being like a kid or whatever, you're just kind of ear hustling, like, oh, okay, yeah, we're okay, oh, all right. Trying to say hi. Everybody's got a tall can in their hand with a paper bag, sitting outside in front of it. You finally get one too. You're feeling all cool, but yeah.
That's cool. So when you made the transition to school, and you're getting your education on, how did you make the transition from school to creating your company?
Well, it came out of a means to be able to stay in school, actually. Because what happened was that, first of all, to everybody like trying to pursue going to a college like that, man, don't do it. Don't do it. It's too expensive. Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. If you can get free money to do it, do it. But coming from a low income household and just low income livelihood in general is like paying for school. I got these increasingly soul draining loans, and it got to the point where I was at the tail end of it, and those loans were being depleted. I was working full time, just random jobs, and working at Best Buy of all places. And it got to the point where I wasn't working there anymore, having that school stress on me. And there was a moment when I couldn't register for a class again because I didn't have the amount of money. And so I had to take it like a quarter off. And during that time, I kind of just fell inward, and I just started producing this body of work. And then it kind of made me say to myself, because I need to seriously just make a genuine effort. And I had this body of work that I was trying to be all secretive, like, oh, this is my precious art. The world's not ready for it. So I had to have an ego check and get over that. And I just decided to put on an art show. And it was a show called In the Guts. And it was just about wounds and hidden places. So little watering holes, bars, safe spots. It was a tribute to all those places, and it was a tribute to healing, getting cut, getting beat up, and then healing. So I had this body of work. I put it on display. It was like 100 pieces or something like that. And I did some prints. I did a small print run. And as somebody was throughout the night, I was selling work, and someone comes up to me. They wanted to buy a print, and they gave me a bill that I needed to get change for. And I didn't want to just reach in my pocket and pull out a wad of cash, like, here, let me get you your change. So I was like, excuse me. So I went to the bathroom, and I went to my back pocket, and I had this, decent wad of cash. And I was realizing, after all the flurry, I'm by myself in there, that I sold a decent amount of stuff. And when I looked at that money, I could see just from the looks that I was like, yo, I can register for classes. I can pay for classes again. I just started crying. I couldn't even hold it in.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so I'm in there, and I'm like, oh shit, get my composure, get their change. I come out of the bathroom, and the homie's right out there. He's waiting for me. He saw me going in there, and he was like, were you in there taking a shit? And I was just laughing, and that broke the tension. And right there, I was like, man, it's simply just finding the place. Everybody as an artist, everybody thinks that you're going to be able, go to a gallery and approach them with your portfolio and be like, hey, I'd like to show work, which is a case, but it's so rare, you know. That's like the movie idea.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the
You find places in your community like a fucking coffee shop, your boy's record spot, you know, somebody's eatery, and you know they're hella happy to have people show their work in there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they're glad to display work, especially if you do, you know, you're bringing them business.
straight up.
So that's where I was like pride checking. I was like, dude, find every place you can display art. Stop, you know, it doesn't have to be this alluring spot with some fucking lady with a clipboard, you know. Somebody could be flippers and it's or like making burritos or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's where I got into that. It was like, okay, I gotta dive into that. And then just later down the road, any avenue like that is just horror gods was one of those logical things. And that was with a friend that I worked with at a Super 7. And we always talked about that. And he's black mixed like I am. And we were like, dude, the whole horror industry, just the merch industry is just like white male dominant. And they only root for the same things over and over again, you know, but they forget about like Night of the Living Dead, you know what I'm saying? Strong black lead character that got shit done, you know what I'm saying? And just over and over again, repeating the same movies and not rooting for like anybody else that's happening in the world that appreciates horror movies. So we were like, yo, horror gods, paying a tribute to the gods of horror. Who are the gods of horror? Fucking the creators of fear, period.
That's so you talked about one of the shows. So you did a show called Hear Me Spirit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you talked about, you told the story, or you talking about the Fox sisters.
Yes.
You call it, can you like, you gave a little bit of that in an article, but I want you to kind of tell the story and kind of get more into like elaborating on it. Like, just feel free to just, because the story sounds crazy.
Oh well, yeah. So the Fox sisters, and I can't recall the exact dates, but basically they kind of put on the ruse of being spiritually gifted, be able to contact the dead. And they had a lot of people fooled in gift. And with that show, Hear Me Spirit, I kind of wanted to think about how people communicate with the dead, like in a digital world or whatever. Because the Ouija board and what's it called, action writing, being able to call on a spirit and let them control your hand as you write down secret notes. It got to the point where the allure of the occult was beyond belief, that they started making those spirit boards. And the Fox sisters actually toured, and they would produce a lot of these like shows or create these seances.
Where were they at?
And,
like, where were they at?
I forget.
Okay. Was it United States or?
Yeah, it was in the States. And there was so much time, and there was so many different stories and aspects. I was just feeding on a bunch of them, trying to figure out what's gonna be the best representation of how we talk to the dead now. Because like when my mom passed away, she still had a Facebook, and that was really weird, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, you could still see a person when they pass away, you could still see their posts and stuff on Facebook.
Trippy.
So yeah, that was kind of like a tribute to her, you know. Yeah.
I think it was in New York in 1860. New York.
1860. Damn.
Yeah. I think that was when the Fox.
That was yesterday. Oh, I do know one thing too. I found out about the Ouija board. So apparently the story is how they came up with the name. is the board told him. So to get a patent on something, you have to prove that it works, right? So they brought it into the court, and they have to give a demonstration on how it works.
Whoa. Okay.
And so as they're doing that in front of the judge, them not knowing anybody in the room, they like call out, it spells out a name of a deceased relative. And it turns out it was one of the guards or something, or what are they called? Bailiff? Is that bailiff?
Mhm.
Yeah. It like spells out one of the bailiff's lost relatives.
Oh.
And he's like, yo, what? And that's how they got their patent, because they didn't even know the guy. You know, it could have been a ruse. They could have like been stalking the dude for hella long or something like that. But yeah, it's basically, I love that. I love that story.
That's crazy.
Because you got to prove it works, and they did right there.
So that must have been, yeah, that was a while ago. So that's not what it takes now. You don't have to prove something works now. No. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it is at this point.
So,
not what it is.
yeah, you just do a good hashtag, boom, swooping it. I fell victim to that.
Straight up.
Sure. Yeah, there was this like device I saw, and it was the one time I ever bought anything off of IG. It was probably like 5 years ago or something. And you put it in your nose, and it helps you like not snore or whatever. They sent me this thing, and it was literally like one of those gumball machine toys. I was like, what is this? But yeah, you don't have to prove nothing works.
Hell no.
Damn.
So who's one of the first people to bet on you as an artist? You know, who one of the first people to, you know, kind of prop you up, give you some, you know, some love and say, yo, you got something, like I see something. Who's one of the first folks?
Damn, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of people immediately, you know, want to go to back, just pay respects to my grandmother, because she definitely fostered it in me, especially my love for mixed media. Because she, you know, whenever I would visit her, she always gave me a new material to kind of experiment with. And then it would be kind of mentors, because as a kid, I went to a continuation school in high school, because you know, I was fucking up. And Mike Gines was my art teacher, and he was also like the mentor. And he was a working artist himself. He did beautifully rendered waves. He was a surfer, and ironically, he was my dad's teacher, my dad's art teacher. So he knew who I was, and he knew that if I was my father, you know, I'm my father's son, and him having a love for art, it was probably destined for me to have a love for art. So he definitely taught me a lot about just art history, and kind of giving me a sense of knowing the rules before I break the rules. You know what I mean?
I got you.
And then later down the road, I had a friend named Ryan. I have a friend named Ryan, and he basically, this is before I went to college, and he came from, his family could afford college, and he went to Davis, I think it was, and for graphic design. And he was in there, he was like, dude, you got to do whatever you can to get into school, you know, like definitely supporting me, just hyping me up, saying, oh yeah, people out here drawing, they're weak. Come out here, show them cool.
Classic shit.
Yeah, right.
Killing them, man.
Yeah.
Killing them. Yeah.
It was like, that was the first friend that it felt genuine, and not in the sense of like coming from a place of bias.
Yeah, like,
you know,
this is my homie, so I'm gonna put on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go hard for my homie, but you really felt like, man, like, damn, he really believes in what I'm doing. I feel it. This is different. You can feel it.
Yeah, for real. And it was just that kind of stuck with me. And then besides that, it would just be, my sister too.
Hmm.
Yeah, so close friends and family, and
Chelsea,
just
right?
having Chelsea. Yeah,
Hmm. Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. She's sweet. I haven't talked to her in a minute though,
Hmm.
but she's huge support system, and I'm like eternally grateful
That's tight.
for her.
I seen it on your Instagram post. You gave it up to sis. You gave it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's tight.
yeah, got it, man. It's so yeah, and it's it's weird too because uh, within 6 months we lost our mom and our dad,
Oh,
and it's kind of like
oh.
it brought us together, but then it's also kind of like created a rift too,
Mm,
and it hella hurts trying to mend that those connections, but not knowing how to navigate it,
mm, mm. Does it
But
feel like
yeah,
you might need a mediator? You need somebody like another
yeah,
outside
yeah,
source. Mm.
yeah, exactly.
Man, it does that, man. That's what death does. That, man. It you know
Mm.
what I mean? That's what you take the right one, the right death, and that'll disperse a whole family. You know, like if you take the right
Seriously.
person out of there, you take the kind of like the epicenter. You got the person in the middle that's holding it together. That's how my mom,
Yeah,
like she passed in '91, so it's
yeah,
like like that was the structure was kind of around her and holding stuff together and making all the calls and being that. And you take that
yeah,
person out, and then it's hard to like pull it back. I can dig it.
yeah, yeah. My condolences, man.
Yeah, yeah, man.
And to have having a strong mother figure and knowing that that's her power is
Mhm.
holding that connection.
Yeah, it's true. It's a trip, especially when being older and having kids, and you realize
Yeah,
how important it is to, you got to turn into that person to be the
wow.
operator, or my pops passed away a couple years ago, so he was kind of like the patriarch and holding stuff
Yeah,
together. So I'm in that same kind of bowl where it's like, where death has altered the family structure. So now we're trying to figure
yeah.
out how to like pull it together. But
Damn.
next question. But so
It's
so
real
during
deep.
during the pandemic though, um, being an artist, like I've seen a few like online auctions that look sick. I don't know exactly how that work, but how how has the pandemic like altered your course, or has it? And what do you think about like the online? How does online work with being an artist?
Um, well, just to be like fully transparent, uh, pandemic straight ruined me.
Damn.
Um,
Wow.
it had just just in the sense of my personal um development, kind of.
Mm,
But this is also coming from uh just a self-critical portion of my personality speaking. So, but I do want to address it because there was because I get to reflect on who I was before COVID and saying to myself, like, man, if I could just have some time to do this and this, like if I just had more time, right? And what does the universe give me? Time. And what do I do with it? Fuck it off. No. It was weird because
mm,
I definitely had moments where there was high levels of productivity, but
mm,
I didn't get the stimulus check. I didn't have like a backing or a backup system, so I definitely just had to light a fire under my ass and just fucking reach out, do as many gigs as I could. There wasn't art shows anymore, so that income was gone. So it was just doing commissions, just um, you know, I never did any auctions or anything like that, but I definitely sold some pieces here and there. doing commissions. People would reach out, and that was one of the hugest things where you really get to see how big your community is. The moment where you're having a little bit of a struggle, and just somebody hits you up. Oh, I need this painted, or I need this logo design or something. You're just like, and they would come right at the right opportunity, and you're just humbled by it, and you find yourself only doing those pieces. And as an animator, it just takes so much time to do animation. So of course, it being right there and having something to look forward to at the end of the day, it turns into, oh man, that's right there. I can do that any time of the day. Let's see what's on Netflix or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I was going to be all artsy, I would say that I was in the liminal space.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but I think there's some pros and cons with just doing online sales, because I think, especially with my work, it comes off very whimsical. I can do cartoon stuff, but the deeper meaning behind it definitely comes with you knowing me as a person. And I think there could be a huge disconnect with the whole digital platform, because you go to an art show to buy a piece, you're forced to stand in front of it. You're forced to bring it in. If it's a large piece, it overpowers you. If it's a small piece, you have to get close, personal with it, really close to view it. With IG, just to say that, it kind of creates this digital trough, this feeding trough where you swipe through and you don't not necessarily having that experience, which doesn't take it away, but I think about the quantity over quality is there, and that could sound a little bit salty, but we got to get into the habit of like knowing that first and foremost, art, if there was any definition, it would be about connectivity. And it being so disconnected and so like commercial and just capitalist based, that's the opposite of that connectivity to me. So just to like set things straight, I want everybody to create, share any way they can and want. Shitty art is better than no art, I've heard someone say, and I love that.
Yeah, for real, right?
So if that works for somebody, do that. Don't forget like how that community or world existed before that platform. You know what I'm saying? Would you exist if you didn't have it? That could be a scary notion for some people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, if Instagram wasn't a thing, would you be a thing? Ooh, wait.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard, it's not, that could be a diss to somebody. If somebody's got a big head, they got whoop-de-whoop followers, and you say, oh yeah, take that away, then what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You can't even, like do you have stage presence or something, Because ultimately, it's easy to take your video over and over again, you know what I'm saying? Or draw record yourself drawing, but you get to edit yourself. The real physical world, you're on stage, you're spitting a verse, and you say something bogus, people see that, and guess what? That's a snapshot in their head right there. Nah.
See.
Yeah, they heard you mess up.
And that's kind of that's what I always say, like even about like cats that I listen to, or most of the folks I interview, I'm a fan of their performance, but those are like two different things, like recording the song and performing it, two different worlds. Some people, if you can't translate that recording into live performance, if you can't bring it to somebody in a physical form, in my opinion, that's not. I can't really say I'm 100% fan. You know, until I see you really can rock. You know,
Dude,
live.
I'm just like you.
You know,
Yeah,
from,
I'm
I
like
mean,
you in that same way. Damn.
and that's I'm not. And that's not a knock on anybody else, but
Yeah.
just saying in my personal level, like my bar is like you got to be able to rock and roll. So
Yeah.
you gotta be. It's like I always say it's like it's like delivering a package and instead of taking it up this up to the steps, you're leaving it on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Like real like you can't deliver it all the way. If you can't deliver it all
Yeah.
the way to me, then I'm gonna be missing that. That's important for
Yeah.
me. That's just how cats grew up. I work with a nonprofit and we teach beat production, and
Right.
it helps with like trauma, and it helps with just wellness in general. Kind of help. It could help you regulate your heart when you're working on drum machines and listening to beats, and it could kind of just mellow you out. So I saw that you did you helped or you taught 3D animation third graders. Is that something
Yeah.
that you have? Like, is that like a grand scheme to give back to kids, or is that newer?
I'm actually teaching right now with Youthbeat.
Oh,
So I'm teaching animation to underprivileged Oakland students
oh,
in the whole like Oakland Unified School District, and I'm teaching them 2D animation. Yeah, that was fun. Those kids were really bright. That was with a company called Code Rev,
okay.
and that was in like 2017. And I've always wanted to be a teacher, and because I definitely feel like a kid at heart.
Hmm.
And so there were so many times where as an artist now, being able to reflect on those pivotal moments, having uh, art teachers or mentors that root for you definitely helped me be where I am now. And if I could do the same for somebody else, not having like this grandiose idea, like I'm going to be some sort of wizard, like and mold the minds of the youth of all of the world, but like just reaching out, showing that you can be a mentor or a teacher and not be all stuffy or judgmental.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of want to bring to the table. Be
Mhm.
goofy, but still have a love and admiration for art history, film, music, like finding out the roots of it so we can progress and finding out the true nature of all of the radical of it all,
Mhm.
making that alluring for students, so they get to pay homage without regurgitation, because that's easy to fall into. So I've been teaching with Youthbeat for like started about half of the school year, and I'm going to be teaching during the summer program. But it's humbling, man.
Mhm.
And teaching online is even more humbling, because yeah, I don't even. Sometimes I got class at 3 today, and sometimes it's just like,
Oh, dude.
you reaching out to the kids, you making connections or whatever, and you get all in your head. But like, we're delivering these books that Pixar was generous enough to give us, and I volunteered to deliver the books. And so just yesterday, I'm dropping off some of the books, and I'm like, whoa, they're in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? These kids are like, I
Right
can
here.
walk, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, we got a whole Fruitvale crew. So
That's tight.
yeah.
Um, so we're talking about music a minute ago, and last time we talked, you were listening to Alchemist. Was it
Yeah.
Israeli Salad? Is that what it's called?
It's really solid. Yeah.
Yeah, the instrumental thing. So what's your go-to music when you're just rocking? You know what I'm saying? When you just, is it instrumental? Is it, you know, or what's the vibe?
Man.
That's tough. Just for you to pick that one was such a little rare, obscure, nichey. Like I don't, that's what I'm like. You named it. And I remember, like I was telling you, that was like literally when I started drumsandammo.com. That was probably the first thing I posted in the first, you know, I'm like, oh, I want to post. And it was really based off like the, like I was saying, the artwork was just so clean. I thought it was
Oh,
tight. I'm like, oh, Alchemist, you know what I mean? I love that. So yeah, what's the go-tos?
well, it really depends on what I'm like,
Mhm.
what type of artwork I'm doing. For
Mhm.
sure, I'll listen to just instrumentals. And one of my favorite things too is like listening to the homies' work. So
Ah,
if somebody says,
I
"Oh
feel
yeah, I got this new beat or whatever," somebody check it out. I'll definitely listen to it. Um, but also, probably straight from the gauge is oldies.
oldies,
You know,
hip hop, soul,
yeah,
R&B, or what is it?
soul, R&B, Otis Redding,
Oh,
Curtis Mayfield,
okay.
Etta James,
Oh wow.
like
Yeah.
James Brown. That's just feel good.
Yeah.
And there'll be times where you're starting a project and a song will come on that you've heard 1,000 times, and you just kind of like it's got that familiarity to it. And then you finish a project and that same song plays and you've got a new appreciation for it because you just picked up on a metaphor of it.
Mm.
But then I also, if I'm painting and I got to be aggressive with something, I'll listen to some death metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I listen to doom and sludge a lot actually
Oh, that's tight.
when
Yeah.
I'm doing a large painting,
Uh-huh.
like Earth or Sleep is another favorite of mine. I like King Woman. King Woman's a Bay Area metal band too, and they're phenomenal.
It's hard.
Um,
Hard.
and then if I'm drawing, when I'm reading or something, I'll listen to classical, and I'll listen to like any kind of piano. It could be contemporary stuff too. Um, but probably one of my favorites of all time, John Coltrane.
Oh, okay.
If I was to just like Desert Isle, oh my God, this dude had an old school calendar. It was he was gonna sell it. I should have got it. He wanted $600 for it. But
Oh.
I got yeah. Did you ever get to visit the church?
In San Francisco?
Yeah.
I think I went there for one show, a little small spot. Unless I'm making that up. And they have
Mm-hmm.
like a
That place magical.
and they have like a little damn dude. No, I might be mixing it up though. I might be mixing it up. Anyway, tell the story.
Yeah.
The church.
I visited there in school. I went with a classmate. He was doing an ethnography on it. I was doing one on live painting
Mhm.
during underground shows and stuff, and he was doing that. We were both, visual artists, but we loved that connection. Just period. 'Cause, like you think about album artwork, right?
Yeah. I was gonna ask
That's
you
one of the
about
first
that
things.
too.
What you before you even hear the music, someone's album drops, you've got that iconic image in your head. You see it,
Mm.
and that alluring connection. So they go hand in hand, you
Mm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just to go back and say, yeah, John Coltrane for sure.
Do you
That
do a lot of like album artwork? Because I see you did Chicano Batman. You did that
yeah, that was
album. So I mean, is that
that was
something?
no. I just did something for a let's see, they just posted it today,
Oh, okay.
um, called Santos Sandia, and it's like these dudes that have. I'm gonna add it to my story, but of course they did their little pose. in front of their neighborhood or whatever, and I kind of just did like a cartoon version of them. Yeah, but anything creative, I'll do it. And I've done, not huge name musicians or anything, so I wouldn't fake the funk like that. I'd be like, I've done a lot of local people trying to just make a name for themselves, and that's one of my favorite things.
That's tight.
For sure.
Man, that's tight. Do you still listen to the Animal Collective?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
They're hard.
I can't believe it. Yeah. I can't. I saw them live a few years back. Chicano Batman. I saw them like a year later. But yeah, I love Animal Collective. Yeah, just because it's fucking weird.
It's like some sampley stuff too. Like if you're like on some producer stuff, you can listen to them and be like, oh, I can see where you can get in.
Oh, tight.
You can do some real damage on. So I want to. What's up with the? I was just scrolling through Instagram and then I ran into Doom and Gloom.
Oh my God! I want to do
that. Looks crazy.
I want to do that. That's just two homies sitting on a stoop in some city, and they're just hip hop lovers, and they just shoot the shit. That's basically
crazy. Like,
but
I almost wanted to be like, man, dude, you need to take this off the internet. You need to like,
okay,
because I mean, I took a screenshot of it just to be like, yeah, I don't even like that. Looks like something I would watch. It looks something.
Oh, right.
No, for real, man. Like, so yeah, I mean, yeah. Could you just is that the breakdown? Like, just two cats on the stoop. What are they talking about? What's the is it just hip hop or is it the world or is it like politics?
All of it. All of it. The macabre, the doom and gloom. Yeah. So one's kind of down to earth, Skelly, he's kind of he's this, the Grim Reaper aspect. So he kind of gets into that a lot. Meanwhile,
it's fresh. It's like, it was one of those things when I saw it, it was one of those like wanting to text it to people, just like,
tight.
Check this shit out, just because it. And then when you find out it's a cartoon or that's the idea, like, man, see, ultimately
that right there, man. Because there's this program called Character Animator, right? Basically, you set it up where we could do this. You and I talking. The program interprets our face and makes the character's head move and mouth move. So as we are talking and having a conversation, those characters could be doing that. So ultimately, and so ironic that you mention it, because I definitely saw it as a platform for like hip hop producers that had a fascination with the macabre. But could like talk about it in a goofy, whimsical light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could have, two people interviewing somebody, but in my head, in the short little scripts I wrote, two were just, one-liners about them going to the corner store or like hooking up with a chick or just like having a sense of dread of the world and not being able to change it themselves, talking about how to fix it, but not doing nothing. Those negative aspects that we see in ourselves and we try to put on the front like we got the savior complex or something like that, but not getting after it.
Not really doing it now. Yeah. I mean, hey man, at least keep that in the, don't let that one just go away. That one's gonna be
appreciate it.
So tell me about the Sweet Dreams and the Daymares publication. Was that kind of like something you were gonna like a hard copy?
Oh yeah, I actually did. I did that, and that came from a sketchbook from years ago, and that manifested from my aspirations as an artist. Because you'd have those sweet dreams, just a play on my last name, and just having these goals or or ideas of where you're going to be in so and so years, and the harsh reality, the physical world, that being the daymare portion. It was like, you can fantasize all you want, but if your waking life is a nightmare, it's kind of a contradiction. So it was just a dream journal, because I'm really into lucid dreaming and just dream interpretation. And that was kind of a dream journal and a way for me to manifest certain goals. And I never really said this to anybody, but the sweet dreams and daymares, I had a lot of like sigils and icons to kind of create a like an allure or a magical sense on things that I wanted to manifest in my life. And when I made that, that was like my first zine that I had published. And every time before that, it would just be black and white, simple staple copies of them, and only make 20 of them.
Oh, it was more like escape magazine, like a little, like the black and white.
Yeah.
Got you.
And then Sweet Dreams and Daymares, when I actually produced that, that was another time too, when I found out how many people have my back. Just were happy to just, oh yeah, you got a zine, I'm gonna swoop that.
Easy.
Yeah, and it's those moments where you find out too. Oh shit, you can be down and saying like, oh man, nobody's rooting for me and shit like that. And then guess what? Universe taps you on the shoulder and say, look, here's homies. Everybody loves you. Stop being a little punk and crying to yourself. Get your shit together.
Yeah, stop
crying.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to talk about, you did a series of canvases, and it had like Muhammad Ali, James Baldwin, Maya Angelou, Huey Newton, Stevie Wonder. Tell me about them. I mean, tell me about how it manifested where are they now? And is that something you're gonna do again sometime in the future? I mean, yeah.
That's an ongoing series. It started from a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King, and it started from a drawing that I did years ago. Oh man, like 15 years ago. And I painted him so many times in my life that like when I would see different imagery or something, new, or a new version of that, of an iconic photo of him, I'll always, be taken back just by like, just how powerful a single image could be, you know what I mean? And I did that drawing. And I remember too, that was just one of those magical moments when somebody reaches out and they're interested in purchasing a piece. And they asked if I could paint that large, replicate it. And I said, I was, of course, I was happy to. But it was the first time that I kind of said to myself, can I stay honest? Can I stay true to the original form? Because it was pen and ink. Can I transition that or create that same look, but on a larger scale? And all of those paintings ended up being commissioned from a space in downtown Oakland on Broadway. What's the address? Oh man, I forget the address. It is it's on Broadway. Well, anyways, basically I was commissioned. After that, put it right in the front and people would walk by and see it all the time. And so later down the road, I was kind of creating more smaller sketches of that.
Hmm.
And then he commissioned me to paint all those painting, to do a series trying to think about heroes and stuff just in the Black community. And it was, painting those were very cathartic. You know what I mean? And I wanted to be expressive with the brush strokes and stuff, and have those elements of playfulness, but still paying tribute to how like iconic their faces are just in general, and reminding the powerful nature of true leader, what true leadership looks like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just over time, I'm working on a Hendrix one now, because I want to do a whole, because I did Jill Scott and I did Stevie Wonder, but I want to do a whole series of musicians. I think would be cool.
That's hard.
They're big too. They're big.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
How long did each one take, generally?
Well, my favorite way to work is to have multiple canvases up.
Oh, so you're just touching on all of them. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I hate getting, you on something and you overwork it, or you work on something to get to a standstill. By having multiple projects going on at once, doing something on this piece inspires you to do something on that piece, and it kind of makes like a cohesive body of work, which I suck at doing in general. But yeah,
that's how I do beats. You know what I mean? I have like
a
bunch of just simple ideas, and I might spend 2 minutes on each one, just keep hopping on each one. And then, but like you said though, what happens is, like if you're doing a project, now it sounds like a complete body of work, as opposed to like, here goes this beat that just sounds like it's in its own world, and it's not gonna really work. Even like when I like, me as a producer, like I like to pick beats. I like to choose beats. Like if I have 5 producers and we're working with the artist, I like to be like, all right, so out of these 20 beats, he has 2 that kind of work with these. And then at the end of the project, you can't pick a beat out. You know what I mean? Because they all kind of have the same. And then there's some beats that are like great. Like one of my homies is a producer, Jake One, and he's produced Doom and everybody. And for years, for years, I've tried to take his beats and put them with people that I'm working with, and it just never really worked. You know what I mean? Just because I know his sound so well that when I put it in this world with other stuff, I'm like, oh, dude, it kind of stops the story. Like the movie's going, and then this production comes in, and the whole background, the scenery changes. So I like it's a trip to hear. Like that's how you like line up your stuff. That's it. Have you ever filmed the whole thing? Have you ever like filmed it, like did a time lapse or anything like that?
I think I did. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I did. I'm really terrible at that because it kind of turns into an intimate experience. I think I did paint another version of Dr. Martin Luther King. I may have. Ironically, as I was painting, I remember now. Yeah, I did. But Facebook took it down because I had John Coltrane playing in the background.
Oh, you couldn't take it out. That was this. Yeah, you were just listening to it, and it was.
Yeah. Of course.
Damn.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to get better at that. Just setting up a
little tripod,
like a tripod or something. Yeah.
And let me know, dude. Too. I I'll pull up on cats. The homie Steve. You know Steven Anderson.
Muralist.
No, I don't. Steve Anderson. He goes by Stephen King. He's a producer, beat producer, but he does like stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like yeah. But so he did one of the ones he did was that big ass robot going over on Grand. I don't know, like if you're going up Grand and you're about to go to San Francisco, there's a big robot on I mean this shit is used too. Anyway,
Let me see.
Steven Anderson, as he go essay. He's kind of cold blooded. That's my guy.
No,
Oh, you see him?
not yet.
Okay.
Is it art studio? Oh no, that's a 3D modeler. Damn.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Cause I want to talk about cause you have like you have a network, you have a TV network in your like cause so you were breaking. I want you to break down Died Laughing, the idea, like
Oh man.
that sound like that's another like I'm into like horror movies and like weird
Yeah.
shit, so like I'm like that's just a sick idea. Break that down like the blueprint.
So ultimately, it'd pretty much be a commentary on how just human nature, regardless of all the tragedy that we experience in our life, it would be kind of our opportunity to find a peace or deal with those struggles through laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do a show. I still want to do a show. I'm in contact with one place that would be perfect for it. But I wanted to have comedians do some sets, to have a macabre sense of humor. I wanted to put some like tombstones on display. I want to release some whoopee cushions with my art on them. So I did a few. I've done a few already, but it would be nice to have like 20 of them with faces on it. Do some stuff paying tribute to comedians that have passed away, that have just enriched so many people's lives. Do some paintings based on them, but then ultimately give my macabre sense of humor a platform and kind of show people those pieces or things, that dark humor, keep it to the side. So yeah, that's what Died Laughing would be. It'd just be a collection of that type of work. Yeah.
Sounds tight, man. Sounds tight. So we talked about a few people that have inspired you. How does Luke Martinez, how does he fit into that?
Oh man, that dude is one of the sweetest freaking people on the planet. Man. And two, he has so many connections with just Bay Area artists, LA art scene. He is just, he's one of those just solid human beings, dude, that like you're around, hearing his laugh like brings you joy. But I remember when I was in college, I actually met him. I was dating his girlfriend, his wife now, his sister-in-law, and that's how we connected. He worked at Super 7 on Haight Street, and I started to work there. He, just a couple days a week.
What's Super 7? What's that?
Super 7's a like a toy nerd culture. It was not too far from Giant Robot. Vinyl toys. They produce Japanese vinyl toys, vintage Godzilla, Ultraman, all that stuff. Graphic design. And Luke was a manager there, so got to go to like, it was cool. Going to Comic-Con with them. Mm-hmm. And Luke is definitely, I would consider a good mentor. Just had his second child, so congratulations. I'm stoked on him for that, because you can tell he's going to be a rad dad. But yeah, Luke Martinez and had me introduce me to Josh, who was a straight up phenomenal artist, visual artist. And he's like art director for Super 7. But yeah, looks great. I need to hit him up.
Man,
Occasionally, also just send him some random like image, something funny.
just
And I
something.
can, yeah. But he's doing the dad thing. I don't want to, be too intrusive.
Yeah, no. You don't want to send him too crazy. Send him something too crazy. No.
Right? He's all hugging his kid like, oh, shit.
Man, so what's next on the menu right now? What you got? What's cooking? What's on the stove?
Right now, I'm working on a animation for a Japanese reggae artist. His name's Noise, and he has a partner named Ayuki. And so I'm kind of doing an animated segments that they're going to have interwoven in their live action music video. I don't know. I don't even know what that looks like.
Like on some gorillas type of shit, or
kind of like lo-fi visuals. I posted kind of snippet of it, of one of their one of the scenes, but it's basically just about smoking weed. They're trying to get it, legalize it in Japan.
Oh my goodness,
it's probably never going to happen, but yeah.
Good luck on that one. Yeah, for real. Hold your breath.
Oh man, for real. And then besides that, I'm working on a logo design for a architect, and it's kind of difficult right now because I'm learning about kind of sacred geometry. He wants his logo to kind of manifest and using sacred geometry, so I'm kind of diving into that.
What's that? Sacred geometry? I don't know what that is.
It's like the patterns that exist in all of nature. Like you heard of the golden ratio. It's like you can see it on a shell, how it spins, how we view the world has a beautiful symmetry to everything. Like you look at the wings of a butterfly, or the shape of a snail shell is the same shape of the organ in our ear that helps us hear things.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So all these connections in the universe kind of signify some sort of mathematical design behind it all.
Oh, okay.
Like fractals, when you look at a sun, or light pierces through a prism, how that light reflects, all follow the same uniform pattern. So I guess it's just study of that.
Damn.
It does get really hippie, so don't dive into it. I'll lose you.
So that's kind of the guide that you're using to work on this logo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Actually, right before you started, right before you hit me up, I wanted to animate the drums and ammo logo.
Ooh.
And just think of like something clean, keeping it the same format, but what it would look like to have the ammunition shoot into frame while the drumsticks are slapping, and then having the leaf patterns kind of like float in from the side, like a second long.
Oh man. Okay.
And it's cool because I have this program. I got this thing. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah,
I see it. Damn.
So
man.
I can break up each of these pieces here.
Oh.
So I have this, right, and grabbing them, I can take all these elements, since these are separate. Like if I was to I'll just grab one of these bullets here and bring it into animate. So after lining it up, I get to experiment with the placements and stuff, which is super fun.
Whoa.
Because I can, if I grab this, shift it down, or I'll put it right here. Um,
Huh.
you know,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
that. But this is what immediately came to mind was these parts because I can,
kind of coming
yeah,
inside.
have each
Oh,
one kind of like
yeah.
grow into each other, like
Yeah.
sprout. So it starts off like that, and each of them kind of grow into place.
Did I send you that, or did you get that from somewhere? Did I send you the logo at some point?
No, and I'm sorry, I didn't. I kind of, I just like swooped it off the internet, but
I'm not- That's what I'm like,
I
wait
should
a
have had
minute.
permission.
Oh no, you got it. No, you got it. And there was another thing you did. You did the dude with the chainsaw. With the chainsaw. So
Yeah.
I have a hat that it's called record choppers, and it's a chainsaw. It's a well, I wonder if I could let me do like this. We did the interview just turned into a whole other situation, but it's all good though. Y'all get to see some live action going on right now.
All right.
Hold up, you guys get to see this is how ideas become
Hell yeah.
reality right here. Hold up. So I got this hat right here. Let's see, dude. Yeah, man. Hold up. Where you at? Where you at, hat? See, this is you should be able to find your own merch. Oh, here it goes, right here. All right, so I'll share my screen real quick so you can see it. Here we go. Share screen. Bing, bing. Wow. So that's that. That's the hat right there. Can you see it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and that's like the back of it.
Damn, that's hella clean.
Yeah. So it's just a clean. So I thought it'd be like I'm gonna stop sharing this. Um, I thought like I'm relaunching my website, so I want to kind of do something, just for that hat. You might be able to fuse something together with the dude going crazy with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas, but
Yeah. You can use it as a promotional.
yeah, something ill. But okay, hold up, man. Let me be back to the regularly scheduled programming. So, man, I want to say thank you for taking the time
Thank
out.
you.
I'm glad we got to like just randomly link up last week on the
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Instagram live. That was tight too, man. Like that was just man, technology's no joke, man. Like
For real.
that's the one
Wow.
thing about being like it's
Tell me.
when you're a little bit older, you could appreciate this and just be like, damn, you know what I mean? Like just out of nowhere, just boom boom. Now we're here, But
Little
like I
kids
said,
are gonna have hologram. They're gonna have holograms or something. They're gonna be like, oh, I can't believe you guys used to look at screens.
I know, right?
I never imagined.
Like,
When I was your age, we used to look at screens.
like Zooms. Ooh, Zoom.
Right?
That
Yeah.
prehistoric.
Zoom. I could teleport to my friend. What are you talking about?
Straight up. But yeah, so I want to say thank you, Zachary Sweets, for popping up. This is well, you got what's the Instagrams and website?
Website ZacharySweet.com. Instagram is @ZacharySweets. One word.
And what about Horror Gods? Is there
HorrorGods.net. Yeah, if you want to see horror merch, horror related merch, yeah, HorrorGods.net. We just dropped a new pin. We're gonna be doing some Candyman related stuff too.
Woo.
One of the favorites, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have one more question. I bought the pin, the number one coach, or what was it? What's the name of that pin you met?
Yeah, world's greatest coach.
World's greatest coach. So I got that
Yeah.
pin. What's the explanation behind that?
Just basically, we were talking about repurposing and creating like iconic packaging, and it was kind of a tribute to people like I want to say Earth Masters, people that don't litter and shit like that, because I kind of did that for Earth Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so is like the world's greatest coach. It was kind of a play on words, kind of a goofy idea, but yeah.
Also, I remember I bought it as soon as I saw it. I was like, oh man, I gotta get that. Then I was like, I really didn't even understand. It just looked crazy to me. I was like, oh man. So I was like,
Yeah, I have a genie one. It's like alumni.
oh, okay.
It's just a genie lamp. It's just, it was like it was supposed to be dadded out pins. That's what I wanted to call them. It was just like, I don't know, just like dad cultures. You know what I mean?
I got you. No, I got you.
Like soccer coach or stuff like that.
I got you, man. I got you. Hey, so Zachary Sweets, DJ Ambush. This is This, That, and the Third, and we catch y'all later. Hey man, thank you, man. I'm gonna holler at you,
For
man.
sure.
Peace.
Ooh, later.
Peace.